This
One around there.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Ruthie Just. Hi, Ruthie.
Hi, Dr. Annette.
Hi. And she is so gracious to be able to come on here to help those of you who are new with EPT, or even some of you who are just struggling to get your business going, to be able to hear what somebody else has done, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked, that kind of thing, and how their business is going. So, so I just need to know, like, give me a little introduction to who you are. So,
Okay.
like, you know, how long you've been in EPT, that kind of thing. What's your business name?
Okay. Ruthie Just, and my business name is Healed and Free. And I took the training first core fall of 2018. So I've had a business, I had it set up prior to core. And so it's been about 2.5 years only.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is just yesterday.
It is yesterday.
That's amazing. You know, you and Natasha, you were the fastest people to date at that point to get through CPEP. And I was really proud of you both. I was just like, wow, they're so good. They're so good.
I love the current format that allows that. It's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here's the first thing I'm going to ask you. When someone asks you, so you do EPT, what's EPT? What do you say?
So if I have like literally just 1 second to respond, I just immediately say, oh, it's emotional healing sessions. Like if I have 1 second. If I have longer, or they say, well, what do you mean? What, and ask more questions, I usually say something like, it brings resolution to unresolved emotional conflicts in the past that may be, or that are correlated to, distress that we're currently feeling. Something like that. And then if they ask more, obviously I talk beyond that. But that's kind of what I usually say.
That sounds amazing. How long did it take you to get comfortable with answering that question?
It took me a long time.
I know.
Probably a year.
I know. Yeah, where you don't feel you feel confident that you can explain it and answer their questions and not just stumble all over yourself.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's good to know. That is so good. And what?
Well, I was going to say, and not start talking about, magnets or muscle testing.
Yes.
That's what I had a tendency. I'm like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but for some reason I want to talk about this. But that's not, that's not at all what people want to hear.
I know. It took me a few years to figure that out. Like, to know that talking about like what this thing looks like is not helpful to helping them to know what you do and if they need you.
Right. I found too. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
found too that saying it in a with a we, like, okay, we have emotional conflicts. We have that, that it actually breaks down barriers. Because I'm like, well, I've done too, So that I feel like is helpful too.
Oh, I like that. That's really good. Really good. All right. So, what do you charge for your EPT?
So if someone just wants to do one at a time, then $175. But most people do packages. If it's a package of 7, which is really 8, because I include the bonus one, it ends up being, I wrote this down, it ends up being $135. And then if it's a package of 14, which is really 15, it ends up being $126.
Wow. And you know what I love? How long did it take you to get, like, to be able to answer that question and feel okay with answering it? Was that hard to do?
That is hard, yeah. Because I knew I was at the right price point, but I always felt like, oh my gosh, it's too much. People don't want to, pay this, but they do. So
they do.
Yeah, they do.
And once they experience in one session, they realize that they can't go and get this from just anybody.
Right. Yes, they do.
And so the value goes up. The other thing that I love about when you start with, if you buy one session at a time, it's $175 a session. What I love about that is, for those of you who are new to pricing, it's telling someone, here is the value. And then when you say packages, you're saying, here is my discounts
Right.
on
Yeah.
the value.
Right.
So the perceived value, the person already is like, I got something for 126 that's really worth 175.
Right. Right. And most
So
people
that
do.
that perceived value, because they know they got it for 126, but after they do it, they know it's worth 175.
Yeah.
They're just grateful.
Yeah. Right. And most people buy this package of 7, which is actually 8 because the bonus one. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And they don't, it's a way of saying, I offer a discount. The other thing I want to say about that is when you build in your discount into the pricing conversation, you eliminate a lot of people asking you for a discount.
Right. That's true.
I've
once maybe had someone ask for a discount, but other than that.
Right. Right. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. And if they come for the first one and they pay 175, I tell them, pay the 175, that's fine, go home, whatever, if you decide you want to do a package, that's great, and you'll come back your second time, and I'll include the first one in, okay, you buy a package now, but then I'll subtract the other one, like I'll include the first one in. But they sometimes they're just like overwhelmed and processing, after their very first EPT session. I want them to like go home and be like, wow, that was amazing. Yeah.
Yep. I do this. I do the exact same thing. I let them know, if you don't have to commit to this right now. You have the second visit. You can decide, and we'll just roll that into the price of the package.
Oh, good.
And then you can buy it then. Yeah, I do that, and people do really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Yeah, I would appreciate that because I'm kind of like that too. I don't want to feel like I was forced to make a decision.
Right.
I just want to know it's right for me.
Yep. I don't like to pressure people at all because I don't like to be pressured. So.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask you, you've been doing this for 2.5 years, and I'm going to ask, like, give me a couple of the, sessions that you've been in that just blew your mind and really humbled you before God.
So, I mean, I'm going to estimate, I don't know how many hours I've done, probably done over 500 hours at this point. So I am constantly awed. There's a couple of sessions that I did not expect, just kind of how they went. And I actually, in the forgiveness statements, was not planning this at all, but like led them into like receiving God, like receiving Jesus, like for the first time. Like I didn't plan that. I never thought that was part of it, but it was really about they couldn't forgive themselves. And so, that, Jesus forgives, of course I make sure that they believe in Jesus and all that. But, that Jesus forgives you and that this is what he's offering to you. And then I walked them through receiving it. And like, it was really amazing. One was like a 9-year-old boy and the other one was a 72-year-old man. It was really cool. Just, I was not expecting that.
Wow.
Like they left and I'm like, did that just happen? That was so crazy. So that's
and I'm thinking it's so beautiful that it was a woman with these two guys that was linking them to that experience with Jesus.
Yeah. And both of them had, background, but not really just had that moment, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't go into it expecting that the forgiveness statements would go there, but it was so obvious and perfect. That's where they were supposed to go. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. Like, this is crazy. So that was really cool.
Yes. That is amazing.
Let's see. So lately, this has been really cool. So a few months back, I did this with a gentleman, but I did doing EPT on dreams, like, is really, really cool. So the person will like have these dreams they are trying to figure out and don't understand. They know they mean something, but they're not sure what. I don't know what they mean, but you do an EPT session and it like reveals what it means.
So that's awesome.
It was really cool. So like for him, it was like a series. So then he would dream more and then he would come back with more and then we'd go. I mean, it was crazy. And then lately I've been doing dreams too, like reoccurring, like a little boy with a reoccurring nightmare. You know, the mom's like, why does he keep dreaming this? And then sure enough, like it, you know, it shows why. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe we can do this with EPT.
I know. And I love hearing you say that, because it's just, you know, I am still constantly amazed at how functional EPT is in so many different ways. You know, just what you said about, you know, helping someone to really receive Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like you. That is not why I show up in my office, but if it shows up, I'm not afraid of it.
Right.
And it's like, absolutely, I'm really humbled by it. And then the same thing, that if somebody's having dreams and they turn out to be, you know, messages that you can tap into with EPT,
Right.
that's phenomenal too. I mean, that is just, I think who else is this person going to go to? Like, who are they going to go that can help them in one session figure out something that is really perplexing them in a dream? I mean,
right.
that's not easy to find someone to do that.
No, it's not. And it's crazy. Then I even started doing like, okay, well, I have dreams all the time, you know? So like me and another practitioner will be like, let's do this dream. And sure enough, like these dreams mean something. This is not just like random, you know, we try to resolve what's going on in our lives while we're sleeping. Like our bodies are resolving and restoring. And so it's fascinating. Like it's crazy.
That's amazing. That is such a cool use of EPT. I love it. All right, so those are some of the fun ones. Now I want to ask, give me at least one EPT experience that was the worst possible client, worst possible situation. Like like it could make you want to quit. It was so bad.
So, you know, I haven't had like a horror story, but the worst for me is when, and it does not happen very often, I want to say once, but maybe twice, where you do a session or a couple sessions, in this case with this woman, and it's really good. Like you think it's really good, right? So, I mean, this particular thing, it went directly to, you know, this elementary age. And I'm like, well, what was going on that year? She's like, well, that was 9/11. Like, that's when 9/11 happened, you know, whatever. So I'm like, oh, this is obvious. You know, you match it up. You're like, oh gosh, this is so powerful. You think it's so powerful. And then at the end, she's just like, yeah, I don't feel anything. I'm like, really? Are you serious? And then so she comes back, you know, okay, we'll try again. Another one. Same thing. You're like, oh my gosh, I mean, this is amazing. I know resolution is happening within her, you know, but she's like, nothing. It's the same. My anxiety is the same. Nothing. Like literally nothing changed. Of course, I know it might be this, it might be that, and all these other things, but I'm like, to me, that's the worst. I'm like, okay, I just did something. I just charged somebody for it. And she walks out being like, that did nothing. I hate that.
Oh man. Yes, I've had experiences like that as well. I will say that a lot of, like, I don't like it when the person's energy is so down that you feel like they're making statements and they're really a big deal, but their whole physical body has such low energy that you don't feel that connectedness, you don't feel the shift.
Right.
And then as sessions progress, you know, for me, it's so exciting when, I'm starting to feel something from you. Like something is finally freeing up. So even though they didn't feel it, and I have to look at them and honestly say, you know, I was trying to struggle to feel anything too. I feel like these were really deep issues, but your energy is so low. What I typically tap into, I didn't feel. And I say, and they go, well, what are you going to do then? And I go, well, we're going to keep going in hopes that we are opening up the energy. And then by the third or fourth session, I'm noticing, there it is. Oh, there it is. You know, and so, I mean, I only say that because as a new practitioner, that can happen, but know that it's not because you didn't get it. It's quite often it's because the person themselves is so collapsed in on their own energy that you don't feel that tangible flow happening, because it's like they're just down. Their own battery is so down. But just know that if you keep going toward it, eventually, and typically in 2 or 3 sessions, you will start to feel that shift, and they start to feel it, and you're like, wow, it is working on them, even when I'm thinking this one didn't feel as good to me.
Right.
It's still working on them.
Right.
Like you say,
Yeah.
I know that, but I charged them. Well, yeah, you charged them.
Oh yeah, I was there. Right.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Oh,
But of course
man.
you just want to
That's
hear
good.
you want to hear them say like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Or I've that, all the things they normally say. I've never experienced anything like that. I feel this, I feel that. And you're like, yes. But when they're like, I feel nothing, you're like, okay, I can't even break through to this person. This is so strange. So yeah, that's the worst.
Wow. Yeah. But yeah, if you, like I said, it took me a while to realize it was the person in front of me. Their energy and their battery is so down, which means that you're really saving their life. You are saving their life. Imagine if they stay in that low state of energy because of these conflicts that nobody's resolved. I mean,
Right.
that's when people get deathly ill, when they get sick.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what I'm saving them from, an early death, a really terrible suffering disease, but I know that they're being saved in that moment as that energy comes back up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of don't get, I tell people, don't take things so personally. You are doing good work.
Yeah.
And some people just have that flow where you just jump into the stream and you're like, wow, I just waited for them to come to me.
Yeah.
And it feels so wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. What is your best marketing advice?
Well, I'm not the marketing expert. So,
Well,
I
just
would
internal marketing.
internal. Oh gosh, I'm not even good at that. I'm really not. I've gotten better. I've definitely gotten better at internal. External, I really don't do a lot of, but I will say if you can connect yourself with in a genuine way somebody that you acknowledge and like their services, and they acknowledge and like your services, and you can refer back and forth. I think that's just the best way to do it. I mean, it's a good relationship. It's a win-win-win for everyone. That would be, and I didn't intentionally, well, I guess I a little bit intentionally did that, but that's what happened that's where a lot of my clients came from in the beginning.
Yep. I totally agree. Someone who really loves what you do, but doesn't do it, and serves the public and really cares about health of people, they will refer to you like crazy, and they'll also come to you.
Yeah.
And then it also gives you that partnership where you can offer a greater level of service to the people you see by knowing when they need this other practitioner.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's awesome. Okay. As an EPT practitioner, what did you learn on your own that you wish somebody would have told you?
This one was hard for me. So I'm sure there's probably things here and there like, oh gosh, I wish I would have known this or that. But honestly, the biggest thing that stands out in my mind, I had no idea how, how profound, how the depth, the heights, like I had no idea like where this would take me personally, like EPT has opened up just unbelievable gosh, I can't even articulate it the way I'm wanting to, but just for me personally, like my relationship with God, being able to hear him so like clearly and so often, and on behalf of other people, I don't think I knew that it would be like that, because I'm very analytical and financial and methodical, and it took me a long time to do this whole intuitive thing, right? But I didn't know I had that all along. It was just all covered up by my stuff, my unresolved stuff, my whatever. But obviously going to you initially, and then all the EPT after that, and LifeWorks and all those things, all those things got moved out of the way, and it was like, this has been here all along. I just didn't know. So that was really surprising. And every time I do a session, I get my own healing. I know you do say that, but I didn't really, you're like, okay, what does that really mean? It really happens. It really happens. And I can go through, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever sessions in a day when you think like, oh my gosh, you'd be exhausted. To me, it's not. To me, it's like, it lifts me up. I don't know. I can't explain it. I mean, you'd think it would be like, oh my gosh, all this people's stuff, whatever. But because the vast majority of them are walking away lighter, you're walking away lighter too. So,
yeah. And, I really feel like the better you get at like turning it over to God, like just saying, I can't do this, the more you do that, the lighter it becomes. And the more profound the healing. More profound the healing. So really realize that I cannot do this, but I will take this tool, EPT, and I will reach out to participate with what I know, and I'm going to give all the rest to you, God, because I can't do it.
Yeah. There have been days I wake up and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get through today. I've got neurofeedback stuff. I've got EPT stuff. I've got kids stuff. I've got so much stuff. I'm tired. Like, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You are going to have to do this for me. And I remember you saying that you would say that. And he does, like, he truly does. I'm like, how did I get through that day? And how did that session and that session be so unbelievably amazing? Like, how? I was exhausted this morning. Like, I don't know how this happens, but it does.
It's amazing. No, I love that. I love that. So what words of inspiration could you give a new practitioner?
Gosh, I don't know if I'll be inspiring necessarily, but I do know that there was a lot of, it was hard for me personally in the beginning. It was like, yeah, I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to do this. And then like roadblock this, that, whatever, all this hard stuff. But just keep getting your own EPT, because I'm telling you, like, I literally tell everyone this, that is why I'm where I am, because everything that I bumped into, everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This isn't for me, or oh, I'll never get there, or this is really hard, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. I would just keep having sessions. And then you just keep moving forward. It just literally keeps moving you forward. So if you're truly called to do this, if you feel like you're called to do this, don't forget that, and be like, okay, I guess it's just not working. If you're called, you're called. Like, God will make a way. Just keep walking forward. Keep getting your own EPT. Keep getting your own healing. I would not be able to do anything of what I'm doing without all the healing that I've had. So that's probably the best advice I have.
That is fantastic. You look great on this video. Thank you for doing this. I love you so much.
Love you.
I am so blessed by you. I don't even want to say proud, because I don't want to be proud. It's like, you are not a result of me. But I'm so grateful that you help as many people as you do, and I know you're going to keep doing it. And one of the things that I'm going to say that is hard to believe too is, no matter how long you do this in your life, it constantly gives back to you in so many ways. It never, I have never gotten tired of it, and I'm always surprised by it. And it, like you said, it has it amped up the reality of a relationship with God like I never knew.
Yeah. It was amazing. And it's exponential because you did have an effect on me. You showed up for me. I get referred to you. I get my healing. Well, look at all these people that are now God is healing through me because of you. Like, it's exponential. It just keeps branching out.
I love it.
How amazing is that?
I love it. And yeah. And yeah, I had a vision a long time ago. Man, it's been a long time. I had a vision, and I was taken to a place, and I was actually lifted. People had their hands on me and they were praying, and I was lifted up out of off the table into what I could only describe as the throne of heaven. And this was really weird for me. And I was laying on a table, and I got an emerald put in my chest, which was really weird. And then all of a sudden I was standing next to Jesus, and he was holding my right hand, and there were like people as far as my eye could see. And he said, "You helped all these people."
Whoa.
And he
Whoa.
said, "And I'm holding your hand." And it was like, I just was like, oh my. And these people were just like thankful, very thankful that I was willing to step up. And yet I couldn't help all those people, but everybody who has learned this is why that has happened. So that's that exponential thing. Anyway, as far as I know, the emerald is still in my chest.
Yay. That sounds amazing.
You know, I laughed when
but you were entrusted with it.
They stuck this emerald in my chest, you know. But it was funny because one of the ladies that was praying over me, she goes, "Oh my goodness, you were at the throne of God." I go, "I don't know. I don't know how that." And she goes to Revelation, and she like pulls out that there's an arch of emeralds over the throne of God. And I'm like, "Oh great, now I've got like an emerald I've ripped off from heaven." So I was a little concerned. I was concerned about that. What does that mean? Anyway,
I have to put it back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I didn't take the emerald. They stuffed it in my chest.
I didn't take it, I swear.
I know. I didn't.
Oh,
I
that's
was like,
amazing.
Why would they do that? Okay, so yeah, but the vision of all those people, as far as my eye could see, was absolutely, it was a sea of people, and I couldn't, it was just beyond anything I could imagine. So
wow,
I said yes. I'm glad you said yes, and I'm so grateful to everyone who says yes, because it is exponential. And
so
everybody's going to be a part of that, helping that sea of people. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to turn off my recording and let you go. And thank you. I'm going to